Welcome to the channel, people. Well, today we're going to take 5 different DIY hacks or ideas that I've used in past videos that have just not worked. And you guys know what that looks like. I've always got tons of comments about things I could do differently depending on what the situation is. So we're going to take the ideas that you've been passing along to me in the comments and see if we can't make some of these ideas better, or at least a better version of this. Let's jump into it. We're gonna start with this beautiful Pottery Barn dupe I tried to make back in November that just didn't go the way I planned. I will link this and all the other original videos down in the description box in case you want to go back and see the struggle and why we're here today redoing all these little gems. I went to Walmart and they had a bunch of different balloons, but I decided to grab a metallic pack and this regular happy birthday pack. And for whatever reason, the metallic ones had these weird bumps. So I didn't use the metallic ones. For our first experiment, I'm just using glue and water and this twine type stuff that I got from Dollar Tree because I have an abundant amount of it. It was recommended that I let the stuff soak for 15 to 30 minutes. The thicker the stuff, the longer. I let this stuff soak for well over 30 minutes because it was a little thicker. My next suggestion was like a cornstarchy type paste. So I Googled exactly what that was because you know I had absolutely no idea, right? And I gotta be honest, this stuff looked like water and I was like, there is no way this is gonna do a damn thing. I was completely skeptical at this point with it, but I mustered on and I soaked it and let this soak it all up as well for a very long time. For the third, I decided to take some Mod Podge. This was recommended by more than one, but one specifically had mentioned layering the balloon with Mod Podge. So I decided to layer the balloon with Mod Podge, mix some water in with the Mod Podge, and then let that soak as well. Now we're gonna take some cooking spray and we're gonna spray it all over our balloon. In the premiere and in the comments, people had mentioned using cooking spray to help stop everything from sticking. So I'm like, okay, I got cooking spray, let me go get it. You know, don't do it to yourself, people. I'm here to tell you. Don't I tell you I have your back, right? Don't use the cooking spray. It's slippery, it was a mess, it just wasn't working. I'm gonna let you listen to me rant as I was doing it. People, I have never given up on a DIY. I will struggle it out. I will try. I have left this. I have came back to it. For those of you who use cooking spray to accomplish this, bless your souls. I'm done with it. I have tried smashing this balloon down on the table, wrapping this stuff, no matter what I'm doing to it. It all, look at this. It keeps falling off. There's nothing for it to grip onto because it's so slippery. It doesn't matter how many times I'm looping over the actual wrap parts. Like I don't know. This way is not working. So there's not going to be a reveal except for a mushy plate. And to my surprise, look at this cornstarch. Shut the front door. Look at it. It's all thick and goopy like glue. I was so wrong. So I took it and I wrapped the purple balloon up. You know, it was really simple. I was like, you know, this stuff was super thick. I was really impressed with it. Then I took our balloon that was covered in the Mod Podge and wrapped it up with the Mod Podge and the water mixture string that we had here. With both, I had absolutely no issue wrapping the balloon. It worked just fine. Took me a couple minutes, and then I let both of these sit for more than 24 hours. This is the next day, and I'm just trying to show you, like, everything is all hard and crusted over. The balloons are crunchy, and I'm like, this, I had a good feeling about it. Like, this is gonna be great. Let's bust out the X-Acto knife. For real. What the hell is that? Oh. Yeah, so the next one, the next one didn't go so well either. Gotta be kidding me. My subscribers hate me. I was like, how are my subscribers gonna do me like this? Giving me these ideas and taking 24 hours, and then look at this pile of rubble, crusty bits. It's a pile of crusty bits. It's a freaking mess. And that's gonna be it for this one, people. There's no review. I'm just kidding. Did I get you? I did. I almost quit though. I did almost quit. I pulled the comments back out. I started going through everything and I'm like, let's get the yarn. Let's grab the glue. Let's put some water in here. And then let's let this stuff sit for about an hour. We're gonna just mush it all together. Then we're gonna wrap up the balloon. We're not putting no cooking spray on it. And look at this. So let's recap. We've used twine, no go. We've used that rope twine, no go. So now we've used yarn. And this is the next day. Another 24 hours, people. Yes, it took me days to make this video. You're welcome. I love y'all. And it's time to bust out the X-Acto knife once again. Oh, it's holding its shape a little bit. At the end of the day, I was super impressed with this. There was just a tiny bit sticking, but look at my ball, people. Look at the ball, the yarn, and the glue work. For our second project, this was actually requested for me to do a couple times because people just like the effect that the glass paint gave the vase. So I went back to Walmart, grabbed a couple more of these because, you know, they're cheap. They're $1.47. Why not? My main suggestion for this was to use baggies instead of the cling wrap because the cling wrap was ripping. I was getting it everywhere. So I busted out my favorite glass paint, which is linked down in my Amazon store. I love this stuff and it dries really fast. And I did have a new set. So you see me cutting some off. That's because the top was all crusty and I just, you know, I'm ready to use my new stuff anyway. We're doing 2 of these and I'm just using black for this first one. I wanted to do one in a solid black color. I just wanted to see what happened. And then I rolled it up and started smooshing it around. And you can roll this stuff, you can squeeze the stuff. It just really rubbed on there really, really well. For our second one, I'm using 3 different colors. It's like a purple, a reddish, and a blue. And I'm just mixing them around. Nothing fancy schmancy, just kind of, you know, spreading it out. And honestly, people, this bag worked magnificently. It was super thick and it let me move the paint around however I want it. So if you're gonna redo this, get you a baggie, okay? Thank you, whoever put this in the comments. Much love to you. Unlike everybody with their balloon suggestions, I still question your love for me, but anyhow. Y'all know I'm just kidding. I appreciate your suggestions and your comments. Don't nobody go catching feelings. Remember I said this paint dries really quick? Well, it wasn't wrapped in the bag, so I just decided to take it out and it was done in like 3 minutes. What do you guys think? I couldn't wait to revisit this project. This was a reverse stain hack I got off TikTok. Originally, I printed out a piece of vinyl from my Cricut. I used some Mod Podge and a piece of scrap wood that I had out back. I did sand, but for today, we're gonna use this polyacrylic and these pre-cut wood pieces from Hobby Lobby. Many people said that the piece probably wasn't sanded well enough, so this was already pre-sanded, and I'm taking an 800 grit piece of sandpaper and going over this very well. Believe me when I tell you, this piece of wood was buttery smooth. In the hack, she showed that Mod Podge worked just as well as the Minwax polyacrylic, so I'm really excited to use the polyacrylic, although to start with, I'm nervous because it was watery. And I decided to not mess with my Cricut today and just use a stencil that I had laying around and place on top of this and hold it down. I also love the fact that this particular stencil still had some color in it because I'm gonna do a little bit of stain art to it once I get it all done, you guys will see. I also decided I was gonna do several layers of the polyacrylic just to be sure and blow dry in between, or use my heat gun in between. And this stuff was so thick. Look how stuck on this stencil is. There was some bleeding underneath of it with the polyacrylic. I do not blame that on the polyacrylic. I blame that on the fact that I didn't use a vinyl that was completely stuck to the project like the girl in the hack did. I was being lazy. If you're new here, hello, my name is Brandi. I don't like to weed. I have a love-hate relationship with my Cricut, and today I didn't feel like using it. Also, I feel like it really kind of gives you guys another option, so you see me using a regular stencil to be able to create this in case you don't have access to a Cricut. This is an idea. I would recommend less is more if you do use a regular stencil, as you see how this did bleed through a bit, but other than that, I really enjoyed this process. The idea behind this hack is to take whatever stain you want and go over where you put the poly or the Mod Podge, and then the beautiful original wood will shine through, and I feel like the poly did just that for this project. Yes, the stencil was a little bit more intricate than just some words or something simple like a larger piece, so I went back in and used some beautiful paints to enhance some of those areas and cover up any imperfections from the bleed through underneath the stencil. But other than that, I love the polyacrylic. I will be using this again. This little hack was my bright idea of how to escape not having a Cricut and use some stickers to create some words on a project. However, I used paper stickers and it absorbed all the paint and was a nightmare. So this time we're going to use these stickers because I was told that these types of stickers was better for that kind of project. They're thicker, they got like a shiny part, they're not going to absorb all of that paint. So I'm like, it's time to get crafty and really just make something. So I went and found this little scoop and I'm like, we're gonna put 3 letters. We're gonna keep this really simple. I'm just showing you the idea that you can use some Dollar Tree stickers to go about creating like a stenciled effect using words. Put down a base color and then you're going to, I'm dry brushing here, but you could completely do it solid. But the reason I'm dry brushing is because I want it to blend with our background, and it will, yeah, so I'm dry brushing just so you can see the word eat come through your paint. I took some white mica powder and layered that with this Dixie Belle paint, and you can use whatever kind of paint, acrylic paint, chalk paint, doesn't matter. The idea will work for anything. Obviously, just make sure you have the right stickers like these because they did peel off so much better. I did have a little bit of sticking, but it was super easy to peel off. It was not like those paper stickers. So if you don't have a Cricut and you pay attention to the type of stickers, you can easily put words on your projects and save on the money that it costs to have a Cricut and weeding. And of course, I had to shove a palette project in here. No, I didn't go over all of it because we're just redoing mess ups, but look how pretty this turned out. Last but not least was our crayon hack to do a heated transfer on a clothes. I had a black shirt, it was free, so I used that before. For this video, I went and I purchased a brand new white t-shirt. I also purchased these fabric crayons, which are down in my Amazon store. It was $12 for this pack of crayons. I wasn't happy about it, but it is what it is. I'm using a 220 grit piece of sandpaper, and then I'm using a stencil that has a lot of gaps in it, and I'm going to just mix up the colors. I used 3 different colors on this. Well, 4 really. I kind of blended the center into like this orange yellowish part. I just wanted to see if blending would actually work. A huge thank you to those of you who told me there were fabric crayons so we could retry this. And I did decide to go and put some words in, and then I realized they aren't inverted. So I had to cut them out because I didn't want them to be backwards on our shirt. So we're just going to use the floral for this. I grabbed a piece of wax paper, busted out the Cricut iron, and just ironed this for a few minutes. I didn't hold it on in place, like hold it. I kind of just waved it around and then peeled a little piece up. And I cannot even express how absolutely shocked I was with this. The tiny extra particles around it are because I didn't get all the little bits from the crayon up, but look at it. It's absolutely awesome. However, once I took it to the water, started spraying it. It instantly started bleeding. It wasn't heavy, but it was light. We'll see what happens once I wash the shirt. But overall, did the crayon work? Yes, it did. Is it beautiful and brilliant? Yes, it is. Will it hold up in the wash? That's yet to be determined. Aside from not knowing if this holds up in the wash, this is really fun to do, and it was inexpensive. So if you want something different to do with your kids or personalize something for a friend or with some friends, grab you some fabric crayons. That's gonna be it for this video, people. I hope you got some learning and some entertainment. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on trying any of these. You know I love talking to you. Until next time, people. Bye!